Live with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching CBS7 First Alert News at 9 on the
Oh, it would help so
West
much.
Texas.
I think I'm going to be working to help pay off my college, and this would really lighten the financial load, help me pay at least 1 year of school.
A Midland teen is a finalist in the annual Stuck at Prom scholarship. If she wins the $10,000 grand prize, it will go to her biochemistry degree at UT Austin. The story that's only on CBS7 coming up in just a few minutes. Good evening and thanks for joining us for CBS7 News on the CW, and thanks for joining us live on the CBS7 YouTube. I'm Alexandra Maxia. This is the first ever live show that is not only on the CW, but is also streamed on the CBS7 YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the CBS7 YouTube for the latest and breaking news coverage, all your favorite local stories, and of course, CBS7 News at 9 every weeknight on the CW and the First Alert YouTube. Tracking crime, a 33-year-old Europe von Crow-Breinston was found dead with a single gunshot wound to the back of his head Saturday night. Von Crow's close friend Melissa Simmons is determined to make sure his death does not go unnoticed.
He ran this away, and this is where he was shot in the back of the head and died. So he was literally running for his life.
33-year-old Europe Breinston, known as Von Crow, was found dead Saturday night across the street from his trailer parked at Laid Back Manor off of 56 and Angus.
Sometimes we don't always have blood, and we make our own families, and he was mine. He was mine, and he was my husband's. And so justice for him is so important.
Melissa Simmons described Crow as loving and loyal.
It's probably the hardest thing to ever find out from somebody about somebody you love.
She says she will do everything it takes to ensure Crow's death is not swept under the rug.
Just because you live like this in a cheap trailer house on a dead-end road, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you want to survive.
Simmons says 2 years ago, Crow's life changed. He became involved with negative influences and moved to the trailer park, but Crow was 3 weeks sober when he was killed.
It's heart-shattering. It is. It's heart-shattering to know that he was fighting to get out, and he was succeeding, and obviously someone did not want to see him succeed.
Simmons is asking for the community's help.
Odessa has a drug problem. People are dying senselessly behind these drugs. And it's us as a community, from people who do recover like me, we need to be better at trying to figure out ways to help people from dying, as opposed to stomping on them when you find out where they live.
Simmons describes Crow's death as senseless. She hopes they find every person involved in his death and that they face justice. An Ector County Sheriff's deputy has been placed on administrative leave after shooting a suspect. Yesterday around 4 p.m., the Crane County Sheriff's Office requested assistance from ECSO in the investigation of Salvador Manzo Jr., who had barricaded himself. Manzo was hit by gunfire from an Ector County deputy when he reached for a handgun and was taken to MCH, where he later died. The Texas Rangers were called and are currently conducting the investigation, which is protocol. And an update to a story we told you about over the weekend. There has been an arrest after a man crashed into the H-E-B on 42nd Street. According to a release from Odessa police, an investigation found that this man, 43-year-old Gonzalo Armendariz, intentionally crashed through the main entrance of the H-E-B. Then, according to OPD, Armendariz fought with a security guard and caused approximately $50,000 worth of damage to the store. Investigation also revealed that Armendariz pulled the firearm and was intoxicated while being in possession of a firearm. Armendariz was charged with a DWI, assault on a security officer, criminal mischief, assault causing bodily injury. For a full list of his charges, visit CBS7.com.
Get them fixed and chipped and vaccinated, and like she said earlier, put on the website where they get out there so they can be adopted.
The Midland Odessa animal shelters have decreased their euthanizations of shelter animals, but thousands still died last year. The Best Friends Animal Society says more than 3,500 shelter animals were euthanized in the Midland-Odessa area in 2022. This is actually a significant improvement, especially in Midland, where 627 less animals were euthanized in 2022 in comparison to 2021. Best Friends Animal Society credited area nonprofits like Fix West Texas.
The biggest reasons that animals get euthanized is because there's just too many. They're not fixed, and so we're having all kinds of, we call them oops litters.
The nonprofit aims to reduce overall homeless pet populations by fixing animals, plus running their home-to-home foster program, which helps people responsibly rehome their unwanted pets. Best Friends officials said both cities are making an effort to improve, and 2023 euthanization rates are already down from 2022. The Salvation Army in Odessa and Midland has 250 new box fans to help the community cool down during this next heat wave. The only requirement to pick up a free fan is an ID and proof of residency of Midland or Ector County. Today, the Salvation Army gave away 30 fans to families in need.
During this heat wave, it gives them some cool in their home. Even with air conditioning, it can still get pretty extreme, and with your electric bill and things, you kind of want to keep an eye on that. And so with that, providing fans for families, it helps in cost for them as well as just keeping them cool during this hot season.
If you need a place to cool off and relax, the Salvation Army has cooling stations inside. It is open Monday through Fridays from 8 to 4. And it's time to take a look at weather. Chief Meteorologist Tom Tieferteller is here to tell us what we can expect. Tom?
Well, more heat is on the way. The worst of it's going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, and into Thursday. Now, that did spark some isolated showers, thunderstorms this evening. Taking a look at the current radar, we are seeing that we do have thunder shower activity starting to wind down a little bit as it does push through the Seminole area and down in the northern portion of Andrews County near Eunice, also over towards areas between Ackerley and Big Spring around Villamore, dealing with some showers, a little bit of activity moving around Colorado City, but the threat of severe weather has pushed further off to the east and still dealing with some thunderstorms near the Pecos area right now, moving off to the north. And again, these storms have had a little bit of lightning with them, and here's what they're causing: a landfill fire over at Pecos, just south of the interstate. Lightning did cause this, and they're working on trying to put that out, but there's the current view of what we are looking at right now with that landfill fire in and around the city of Pecos, where temperatures are still on the hot side in a few locations. They've cooled off with the rain to 87 there in Pecos and Saragossa, but still at 100 in Monahans, still the upper 90s across the Permian Basin. And humidity levels have been up a little bit today, helping fuel some of that thunderstorm activity. And a little bit of wind, especially in the vicinity of some of these thunderstorms, gusting up to 25 miles an hour. More heat is on the way, the worst of it coming up here over the next few days.
Thank you, Tom. With these scorching temperatures, many West Texans are looking for ways to beat the heat. The city of Odessa is holding a free pool party. There will be games, giveaways, and watermelon. This will be happening tomorrow at the Woodson Aquatic Center from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. And keeping an eye on your money now, if you think it's getting more expensive to live in the Permian Basin, you're right. Odessa ranked 13th in the nation for percent increase in rent prices, going up from almost 20% from May 2022. That's the highest increase of any city in Texas. Midland was not too far behind as the third highest increase in the state and 81st highest increase in the nation at just under 13%. These numbers align with the trend that was seen in the data between smaller cities and bigger cities.
Rent prices in Odessa went up nearly 20%. The average in May 2023 was just about $1,400. Meanwhile, in a place like Austin, it was nearly $1,900. So big cities still more expensive, but the trend we're seeing is that rent prices are going up more in some of your smaller areas, such as Odessa.
The largest decreases in rent came from cities near bigger ones like Austin, Dripping Springs, and Bee Cave were in the top 15 nationwide for percent decrease in rent. Statewide, the average rent increased by 4.2%, just about matching inflation rates.
Yeah, I kind of just spaced it out. Like, I'd get home from school, do some schoolwork, and then in my spare time, I'd just work on the suit, and I knocked it out over like a course of a few weeks.
A Midland teen is a finalist in the annual Duct Tape Stuck at Prom Scholarship. It awards to lucky recent high school graduates a $10,000 scholarship for having the best designed tuxedo or prom dress made out of duct tape. Emma Chang says she spent over 75 hours making her suit on top of her many senior year activities. Chang is one of the 5 finalists in the 23rd annual scholarship contest, and seniors have to create a prom outfit made out of duct tape. Whether it's a suit of the American flag or a suit that represents the history of art, the choices are endless. Chang says her tuxedo is one that represents her childhood.
And I chose to make a suit inspired by steampunk because it reminded me of like things I saw in my childhood, and I wanted to create like a very whimsical, kind of like more science fiction-y kind of theme. That's why I have like wings and gears, kind of to give it that like magical effect.
The winner is determined by you. There's still 2 days left to voting in the Stuck at Prom competition. So if you want to vote for Emma, find this story on CBS7.com for the link to vote. In your local sports, kids from all over Texas were at the Reeves County Rec Center in Pecos for the 4th annual Andre Roman basketball camp. While learning to pass, dribble, and shoot is a big part of the camp, Roman is also looking to inspire campers to be leaders in the classroom and at home. Roman is pleased with the growth his camp has had over the past 4 years.
It's great, man. It's great to see something that you pour out to the world, pour out to the kids, and you generally do something to give back to them and help them. And it's great to see them, you know, not only the local kids pour into it and follow what we are teaching, but see kids make their ways out here from different cities.
For more First Alert sports coverage, tune into CBS 7 News at 10. A quick traffic alert for you. Union Pacific Railroad will be performing some asphalt work for some railroad crossings in Midland and Martin counties. Each location will take between 5 and 7 hours. Tomorrow, crews will be working at Business 20 at Fairgrounds. On Wednesday, work will be done at Business 20 in West Stanton, east of the West Interchange. And then on Thursday, Business 20 at East Midland, west of the East Interchange. Crews may also work at Business 20 at the South Highway 137 crossing. Now for a look at today's top headlines shown here in real time with real viewers on CBS7.com. See all these stories and more by downloading our app or visiting our website at CBS7.com. Here's what's new for you to watch on the CBS7 First Alert YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you never miss a story. A homicide suspect escaped from a Pennsylvania jail Thursday night using bed sheets as a rope. The latest on the manhunt for the self-taught survivalist next on CBS 7 News at 9. A manhunt is underway for a 34-year-old homicide suspect who escaped from a northwestern Pennsylvania jail late Thursday night. Authorities are warning that he's likely armed and dangerous and may be receiving some kind of assistance. CBS News correspondent Naomi Ruckham reports from New York.
Authorities searching for an inmate who escaped from a Pennsylvania jail using tied bed sheets say they believe he is still in the area.
Regardless of where Burham may try to run, he will be pursued by the full force of law enforcement.
Investigators did not rule out the possibility that 34-year-old Michael Burham crossed state lines sometime after his Thursday night jail breakout. Burham was being held on arson and burglary charges, allegedly involved in the kidnapping of an elderly couple and suspected of killing a woman in western New York. The desperate search by local, multi-state, and federal authorities includes canine units, drones, and aircraft.
But I am convinced that the approach that we are taking will be successful. There is no doubt in my mind we will capture him.
Small stockpiles or campsites were found in wooded areas, some possibly connected to Burham, authorities say.
Definitely people are nervous, upset.
I believe at some point we will force him to make a mistake, and when he does, we will use that to our advantage.
Police warn that Burham, a survivalist with military training, is considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
U.S. Marshals in Warren County, Pennsylvania, Crime Stoppers have offered more than $9,000 in reward money for information leading to Burham's capture.
Well, more triple-digit heats in the forecast. It was a scorcher today, and the worst is yet to come. We'll talk about all that coming up next.
Now, from the CBS7 First Alert Weather Center, here's Chief Meteorologist Tom Tiefertiller.
Well, it was another scorcher today as temperatures are back into triple digits, almost area-wide. High temperatures today, here's a look at them. You had to go down into the mountain areas to escape the heat. Now, the wink sensor has been blinking on and off today. Temperatures are up around 108 in Wink a little bit earlier, 99 in Alpine, but everybody else you can see in the triple-digit territory. In the hot spot, Rio Grande Village up to 113 this afternoon, but hot enough. Midland, Odessa, Big Spring right around 105. Now here's a look at that landfill fire that was sparked by a passing thunderstorm and some lightning. And you can see a flash of lightning there. It continues to affect the area. They could see some erratic winds too with this, maybe hampering firefighters a little bit. This is south of the interstate, west of the La Quinta, over again on the southwest side of the city of Pecos. And you can see firefighters already there, hard at work. As temperatures there right now are 87 degrees, being cooled off a little bit by some of the rain. We're still into the upper 90s across the Permian Basin at this present time, and Terlingo up to 101, 100 in Presidio, so things still trying to cool off out there. Now, we have had isolated showers and thunderstorms across the area. They're on a downward trend as they move in across the northwest Permian Basin, extreme northeastern Permian Basin, and there's the stuff just to the north of Pecos now. That thunderstorm is passing. You can see a lot of the stuff in the mountain areas really decreasing in intensity. High pressure in charge of the weather. And looking at the extended forecast, this thing's not going anywhere anytime soon, so we could be looking at upwards to 10 to 14 days of triple digits. Another big heat wave developing across West Texas here for the time being, and really for the rest of the month of July. It's really going to depend on anything weakens this, and this is the time of the year the jet stream's well off to the north, and we don't see a lot of movement in these systems. And occasionally you'll see a little disturbance roll across, kick off a shower or thunder shower like what we saw today, and temperatures across the state again trying to cool off out there. West Texas Futurecast shows everything winding down for tonight, and a lot less in the way of the isolated showers and thunderstorms coming up in the forecast for tomorrow. Stopping the clock here about 4 or 5 o'clock, seeing that we do have some of that isolated shower, thunder shower activity. Heat advisories in effect for tomorrow area wide, and also excessive heat warnings for temperatures above 100 in the mountain areas of Davis, Guadalupe, and Apache Mountains. Rest of tonight, trying to cool off a little bit, some gusty winds around the area, and tomorrow a lot less in the way of isolated showers and thunder showers and more heat, 105 plus in many locations, and that's going to be the case as we move in towards the rest of the week, and not shaking the triple digits anytime soon.
Still ahead, an eye on history with a look at an event that happened on this day almost 40 years ago. We are keeping an eye on history with a look at what happened on this day almost 40 years ago.
Coca-Cola is bringing back the real thing, its original formula from Atlanta, where Coca-Cola is headquartered.
On July 10th, 1985, Coca-Cola announced it would bring back the old Coke formula, referred to now as Coca-Cola Classic. The company originally announced a new formula for Coke in April of 1985, calling it New Coke, claiming it had a smoother, rounder, and bolder taste. Public reaction deemed it too sweet, with many comparing it to Pepsi. Following the July 10th announcement, Coca-Cola Classic quickly outsold New Coke and within a few months had returned to its position as the top-selling sugar cola ahead of Pepsi. The New Coke did see a return, though, in 2019 when the soda company released a very limited run of the failed flavor. Still ahead, an Iowa man could possibly be the world's longest-running school bus driver. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. That is a school bus making its way down this Iowa Farmers Day Parade. It's being driven by a man who may be the world's longest running school bus driver, Alan Wright. Guinness World Records will soon let Wright know if he does indeed hold that title. But the 88-year-old Iowa resident has been driving kids to school for 65 years. His years of service have made him a staple in his community, and Wright served as the Grand Marshal at the Farmers Day celebration Saturday. And instead of riding in the typical convertible, he opted to drive a school bus and invited others to join him. Wright says he plans on doing the job he loves for as long as he can. I think that's really special, Tom, that they honored him in this way.
That is neat to see all those people show up for that, and something else there, having a whole parade.
Looks like a fun one, too, and you see him waving out the window. I love that.
Giving him the honors and accolades he rightly deserves.
Very cool. Well, it looks pretty sunny there. Is it going to be sunny
maybe
in our
not
forecast?
quite as hot as this mess, because, again, this is something else. We're back to those 105-plus days starting tomorrow and continuing, it looks like, really for the rest of the week. And triple-digit heat's going to hang around in our forecast. I've looked at long-range weather charts and everything. The high pressure causing all this, not moving anytime soon, so I would bet on this for at least the next couple of weeks.
Thanks for watching CBS 7 First Alert News. I'm CW.